Hey everyone, this is Mr. Demonology. I'm just here kind of showing you my bestiary, and I'm showing off the way I've made it. I know people show off like their grimoires or their book of shadows and things like that here on YouTube. And I remember before I was working on a bestiary that I've since neglected, but I want to get back into it. I'm very obsessed with mythology, demonology, angelology, folklore and folk tales from around the world. And what I originally wanted to do was get this big book and just fill it with, information and artwork based on each one of these creatures. Each page is its own, like, creature or being, I guess. And I haven't made a lot of progress into the book, but I plan on continuing working on it, and I will probably share the progress in future update videos. This is a plain book. It's nothing particularly special. It was a gift given to me. I don't know where the book came from originally. Each page has the creature's name written in kind of an old English font, and then I just wrote some text around and art. So I'll usually write the title and then I'll draw, the artwork, and I'll color it with colored pencils or watercolors. I don't know if you can hear that, it's thundering outside. And this is just the text around it. I'm going to flip through the pages I've done, and afterwards I'll probably go back and read what's written on each page. It's only a handful of pages. Every page in the book is already planned out, so you can see all the way to the back. It's definitely over 200 pages. I've only done a few pages, but I'm gonna go ahead and show those. So we have Krampus. I'm sure a lot of people know who that is now after those movies that have come out recently. Fenrir, Drax, the Orang Minyak, Hyasub, Melusina, Baku, Inugami, Gnomes, Nekomata, Jangshi, Banshee, Amerifurikozo, and Abatwa. Now, these artworks weren't really created by me. These are, while doing all of my research into these different kinds of creatures, I would stumble on different artworks, so I kind of replicated the artwork into the book. So that's how I find some of these artworks. So I just kind of redraw them into my book. Now, usually I draw my own artwork for other kinds of books, but for this one, since it's more just for like reference, I decided to go ahead and just copy artwork, because a lot of these things I have no idea what they look like, and it helps me streamline my process if I'm replicating artwork into this book rather than creating the artwork from scratch. So I've only done a few pages, as you can see, but I'm obsessed with mythology and stories like that, and I plan on doing many more in the near future. So now I'm going to go ahead and read each page. Yeah, these are just basically done with watercolor. This is colored pencil, this is watercolor, this is almost all watercolor, but I try to stay away from it because it kind of bleeds through the pages a little bit, like this one. You can see, it's not too bad, but it's not professional looking. Okay, so I'm gonna read the Krampus page. The Krampus is a demon who accompanies Saint Nicholas when he visits Austria, Bavaria, Switzerland, and Hungary. Traditionally, young men dress up as the Krampus in the first 2 weeks of December, and particularly on the eve of December 6th, and roam the streets frightening children and adults with rusty chains and bells. Krampus punishes the children who have been bad the past year. He might take back the gifts that have been left for them, leaving a lump of coal in its place. He might smack the children with the switches he carries. The most ill-mannered children get carried away by the Krampus, never to be heard from again, carried a long ways away. Children were also thrown into inkwells by the Krampus on occasion. In some tales, the demonic-appearing Krampus is said to carry the bad children away to his lair, where he then decides whether the child will be drowned, devoured as a meal, or transported to hell. Fenrir. Fenrir is a monstrous wolf, the son of Loki and the giantess Angerboda. The wolf Fenrir is bound by the gods, but he is ultimately destined to grow too large for his bond and devour Odin during the course of Ragnarok. At that time, he has grown so large that his upper jaw touches the sky, while his lower touches the earth. After killing Odin, he is murdered by Odin's son Idar, who either stabs him in the heart or rips his jaws asunder. Learning from the prophecy of the Sibyl Völuspá, Odin found out the children of Loki and Angerboda would bring trouble to the gods. The wolf was then bound in iron chains, which he often broke out of. Fenrir also has two sons, Hati and Skoll, who are responsible for the movement of the sun and the moon across the sky. Dracs. Dracs are river spirits from Europe who are unable to have children. Instead, they lure pregnant women into the water by disguising themselves as golden rings and pulling the woman under when she reaches out to catch them. Dracs live inside ample palaces in the caverns and banks of a river. Occasionally, they float down the river in the form of gold cups or rings, entice women or boys who are bathing on the banks of the river, and when those people try to grab what they see, they are suddenly seized and dragged down to the bottom. This mostly happens to suckling women who are taken by the dracs and forced to rear their unlucky offspring. Sometimes the women are allowed to return after 7 years there and come back to their families. Orang Minyak. The Orang Minyak is a serial rapist that is hard to see and catch due to being supernatural. The Orang Minyak, or oily man, is described as human, naked, and covered in black oil. This is allegedly to make it difficult to catch, as well as difficult to see against the darkness of the night. This creature lived around several Malaysian towns where he raped young women. There was a mass panic caused by this creature among unmarried women, since he is invisible to non-virgins. Some defenses taken against this being was for the girls in student dormitories to borrow sweaty clothes, to give the impression to the Orang Minyak that they are with a man. Other defenses include biting its left thumb and then covering it with a batik, a type of fabric. It is possible that clothes disempower him. Hyosub. This nasty fellow is a cousin of the much beloved Kappa, a slightly mischievous river spirit. However, the Hyosub is much crueler. Those who cross paths with one of these foul little wretches often find themselves sorry for it. Like the Kappa, he lives in rivers most of the time. The Hyosub also likes to venture into towns to, among other things, take baths inside people's houses. His body is sometimes covered in thick hair, which invariably gets left all over the bathroom, in the tub, and every place he stepped. When angered, the Hyosub has been known to destroy gardens, kill horses, pets, as well as turn people purple and have them die shortly later. Melusina. Melusina, or Melusina, is a feminine spirit of fresh waters and sacred springs and rivers. She was a mermaid and was often depicted as having wings, 2 tails, and is sometimes referred to as a nixie. This mermaid married a mortal man named Raymond of Lusignan, and the only condition of their union was that he never look upon her on Saturdays. For a long time he kept his promise, but one day it grew too much for him, and he looked at her one Saturday to discover she was not human on that day. She immediately left him, coming back only to greet the heirs of their succeeding generations. In another tale, during a disagreement with her, her husband called her a serpent. Upon him doing this, Melusina took the form of a dragon and flew away, never to return again. Baku. Also known as dream eaters. Baku are spirits found in Chinese and Japanese mythology that devour dreams and nightmares. The body of a Baku is typically a hodgepodge of animal parts, often leaving them with a look that is more tapir or elephant-like, ranging in colors from pink to black. Baku are generally more peaceful, aiding humans by eating nightmares or the evil spirits that cause such dreams. Sometimes they do this unbidden, but sometimes the nightmare sufferer must awaken and call upon the Baku to eat his dreams. Some Baku can change eaten dreams to good luck. The Baku may also be more troublesome, eating all the dreams and thus depriving sleepers of their beneficial effects, or simply waking the sleeper and depriving them of sleep in general. Images of the Baku may be placed in bedrooms, acting as an amulet to ward off bad dreams. Inugami. The Inugami is a familiar spirit originated from a dog. Inugami are known for carrying out vengeance or acting as guardians on behalf of the Inugami owner. Extremely powerful, they are capable of existing independently, as well as turning on their owners and even possessing humans. An Inugami is created by tying a dog and placing a bowl of food just out of its reach. As the dog dies, its master tells it that its pain is nothing compared to his own. Then the owner would perform some secret black magic ritual, and at its death, it becomes an Inugami. Since its dying wish was to eat, food is placed by the corpse as an offering, making the spirit obedient. Only someone experienced and prepared could ever attempt to control one successfully. These spirits scare people to death and are terrible and wrathful. If the Inugami returns to its body to find it has decomposed and is no longer habitable, then it may take control of its master's body, making it even more powerful. Possession by an Inugami cures sicknesses or ill health, but the possessed behaves like a dog. Only a powerful sorcerer or witch doctor can perform an exorcism successfully. Gnomes. A gnome is a fairy creature that is characterized by its very small stature and subterranean lifestyle. Gnomes consist of many types and rarely come into contact with man, and in some cases especially with forest gnomes. Garden gnomes live in old gardens and enjoy telling tales of melancholy. The gnome typically resembles a gnarled old man in a pointed cap who lives underground and guards buried treasure. Like dwarves, the sun's rays turns them to stone. Some spend their days as toads instead and have magical powers that make people feel sad or happy. Most gnomes are 7 times stronger than a man and also have superior speed and sight. These abilities help the gnome do many things, such as find wounded or dying animals which they feel responsible for. Forest animals are the gnome's friends and are willing to help at any time. Gnomes especially love gems and are thought to be the best gem cutters to exist. Gnomes' only enemies are trolls and cats. They tend to live in rocky meadows and woodlands. Gnomes are considered to be earth elementals and can swim through earth like fish in water. The gnome king is named Gob, and he presides over these beings who live within ancient trees. Nekomata. There are 2 types of Nekomata, the beasts of the mountains and the ones raised domestically that grow old and transform. In ancient times, it is said that a Nekomata ate and killed several people in one night. This was the mountain type, as large as a dog with its piercing cat eyes. These Nekomata conceal themselves in the recesses of the mountains and sometimes shapeshift into humans, their booming voices echoing throughout the mountains. The second type of Nekomata are house cats that grow old, transform, eat, and abduct people. This 2-tailed Japanese spirit is said to have powers of necromancy, and upon raising the dead, will control them with ritualistic dances, gesturing with the paws and tail. These cats are also said to cause unexplainable fires as well as other strange occurrences. The older, and the more badly a cat was treated before its transformation, the more powerful the spirit will be. These cats behave badly in public and are known for bringing gloom anywhere they go. Banshee. A Chinese zombie vampire that is incapable of jumping or walking due to rigor mortis. Instead, it moves by hopping stiffly. This also causes their nails to strengthen and their arms to outstretch. It is possible to knock a Banshee over so it can't get up. They are created when a person's soul fails to leave the deceased body. This can be due to an improper death, suicide, or just the desire to cause trouble. They hop around, killing the living and absorbing their life force. Banshee have no higher consciousness or independent thought. They also cannot see, think, or speak, and instead locate their prey by their sense of smell or by detection of breathing. Legend says that if you hold your breath, you may be able to escape these monsters. They vary in look, sleeping for at least 100 years. Rice is said to stop them in their tracks. Sticky rice can be used to draw out the evil spirit. Banshee can be gathered together by dark sorcerers to use as an army or simply for use as bodyguards. Banshee. The Irish Banshee is a fairy woman who wails when death is approaching. They do not cause death, only mourn it. Banshees usually have long hair, pale cheeks, and eyes that are red from crying. They have even been known to appear as a headless woman, naked from the waist up. Hearing the wail of the Banshee foretells the death of someone in your family, and seeing the Banshee foretells your own death. Multiple Banshees wailing in one place heralds the death of someone very great or holy. At times, she is seen in lonely places, beside a pool or stream, washing the clothes of the person who is soon to die. The Banshee's keening, or mourning wail, is heard one night prior to death. As she moves off into the darkness, witnesses describe a fluttering sound, such as the sound made by birds flying at night. If one can get between this washerwoman and the water, she will grant 3 wishes in exchange for 3 questions answered, truthfully. In other stories, if you are seen by her, then you must help her wring out the clothes. If you twist the clothes in the same direction as the Banshee, then your arms will be pulled from their sockets. And then you will be pulled into the wet sheets and killed instantly. If, however, you twist in the opposite direction, the Banshee will then be required to grant you 3 wishes. Amefurikozo. Amefurikozo is a Japanese yokai and is seen as a very young boy with a broken pole-less umbrella over his head like a hat. His broken umbrella offers him little protection from the rain, but he doesn't seem to mind, and he carries a little paper lantern with him to light his way. He is a Jido who works for the rain god Ushi. This means that he is one of the children employed by the nobility of this particular rain god. Amefurikozo is a yokai servant, and he is often bullied and picked on by more powerful and stronger yokai. When a man walks alone on a rainy night, an Amefurikozo yokai may appear before him wearing a bamboo umbrella and carrying tofu in both of his hands. According to yokai literature from eras long past, there are theories that if you steal the umbrella from him and wear it, that you will not ever be able to take it off. Other theories about this weather yokai are that he makes it shower and finds delight at seeing people get troubled. He is the one with the role of adjusting rain, which is something that is greatly related to the work and life of all living things. When Amefurikozo waves his paper lantern, the rain will suddenly begin falling hard. Abatwa. Found in Zulu mythology, the Abatwa are a tiny race of human warriors that are so small that they are able to ride ants and hide under blades of grass. When the nature spirit Vashnacht cried, his tears fell to the earth and the Abatwa were born. They live in complex underground tunnels that are lavishly decorated with seed mosaics, but they are nomadic in nature. These prideful and highly skilled warriors protect their homes with spears and poison-laced arrows. While peaceful and relatively shy, they are easily offended, and if you see one, you must lie and say you saw them from very far away, so as to appease their egos and avoid fatal arrow poison. The only people who can see Abatwa are children, 4 and under, magicians, and pregnant women. If a pregnant woman sees an Abatwa, then she will learn the gender of her unborn child. Okay, so that's all the pages I've done so far. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned it before, but in order for the text to not be crooked, I usually use a ruler to draw lines very lightly in pencil, and then I'll go over and write in pen, and then I'll go back and erase the lines. That's pretty much how I do it. So that's all the progress I've done so far on my bestiary. I hope you guys think it's alright. I saw the book and I wanted to share it with you all on this channel, because I want to share more of my kind of creative stuff, and I figured this would be a good place to start with some of that. So I guess the next few pages are probably going to be coming very soon. I'm actually really excited to get back into this book. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.